And we're live. Here we go. Right. Hi, everyone. I am continuing my series of going through the lists for the WTC. Again, I'm joined by Alistair today. And Ali, we are going to go over pool number 2 today.
Yep, we'll go straight into it. We should probably throw in all the disclaimers again that
Yeah.
we're casting comments on the list on our first initial readings.
Yep.
We don't know who the players are. We're just assuming that all the players are fantastic,
Yep.
which they will be, and that the lists are going to be a real sort of, they'll make the real difference at the event. And we hope we're not out to cause offence. We're not out to cause upset. We're just going to be giving our honest first opinions of the lists. And we're not checking for legality. If something
Yep.
jumps out as amazingly
Yep.
illegal, we'll
Yep.
just skip it. But these
We'll note that something is off with the list because I know that the TOs had made a few mistakes, and I mean it's almost like, what is it, 48 lists or something. The mistakes will creep in. So
Yep.
there were lists that were the wrong version of lists that had been uploaded. It doesn't really matter. The right ones will be out there at some point. I will also again try to keep my commentary to a minimum since I am going. I don't want to spoil what I think about everyone's lists too much. I will keep a little bit of OPSEC going here.
Yep. Whereas I will just let fly.
Yeah, Ali, you just tear apart people's lists, please. Right,
Yep.
let's go. We are looking at Spain2 first, and I will share my screen here.
And of course, what group? This is group number 2.
Group
We're
number
reviewing.
2. Group number 2. Um, and we have a 15 order dice 6th core. These are Americans, so we've got a first lieutenant inexperienced. We got some skirmish units with BARs. 1, 2, 3 of those. One of them is only rifles, and then we got 2 engineers with some machine guns and flamethrowers, and a inexperienced medium mortar. I'm seeing a lot of inexperienced medium mortars. Sniper team, bazooka team, um, a light autocannon. No, it's a heavy autocannon. 3 plus, a heavy autocannon. A recce jeep, a Ranger Force M3, which I actually do not know what is, but it has this really cool shoot and scoot rule where if they get a fire order, they can immediately reverse after that one. So you can stay in area terrain and then shoot and then back out so that you're not in any danger. And then a few dodges, and that is the whole force. 15 order dice. What do you think?
Yep. This was a really interesting list when I first came across it. And I initially dismissed it, but then upon revisiting it, I think he's got a plan, and I like it. The first lieutenant, though, in experience, was a bit of a wild card,
Mm.
but it gives it a good leadership boost. The engineer squads are married up with their appropriate Dodge trucks.
Yep.
Although he hasn't bought the medium machine gun for them, and he has kept the trucks at regular.
Mm.
That's just an optimization of points thing, which is
Or he might want to do a bit of outflanking or reserving.
yeah. But I mean, I would have maybe gone to find the 15 points for the
Yeah.
MMG.
Yeah.
Just if you are going to outflank,
Yeah.
just to give that unit some extra fire support
Yeah.
when it arrives. As you said, the medium mortar and experience is a bit of a ambiguous tool at the moment, but the anti-aircraft gun he's expecting to face off against light tanks, as you should. The player pack drives the meta per se
Yeah.
towards 7 and 8 plus armor, but the Ranger Force M3, I am scooted to the library to pull it out, and you can only buy these things veteran.
Mm.
It's a 7 plus armor carrier, one hull mounted front facing medium anti tank gun.
Yep.
It's
So
got
it is a tank hunter.
yeah, yep. It is a tank hunter. Counts as a tank destroyer for the purpose of a reinforced generic platoon. The shoot and scoot rule: if the Ranger Force M3 is given a fire order, it may also make a reverse move after firing.
Yep.
So that's That's
So
quite handy.
they don't actually have recce, but they have that is almost better actually if you
Yep.
use it, because then you're firing, you're still giving it a fire order, so it's not an advance order, but you're shooting and then you're moving away. I really like that.
Yeah. So if you're doing it in a bit of a combination of rules, you do an advance order, go forward, fire, and then on your next turn, your next order is a fire order, and then you reverse back to a little bit of safety and cover. So it's a good list. I like it.
Really good list.
Yep. Good dice count as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well put together.
Second is the infamous Luftwaffe Defense Force, 16 order dice,
Yeah.
and it's got 1100 points, but that's because he's got 100 points worth of free fortifications. And he starts out with a regular lieutenant with an extra man. He's got Luftwaffe field divisions with Panzerfaust, and he's got loads of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 Luftwaffe field divisions of 8 men. They're inexperienced, but they are green, but they have the 2 Panzerfausts. And he's got 1 Luftwaffe Pioneers with a flamethrower. Then he's got a medium mortar. He's got a Flak Zwilling, awesome gun, a Flak 88, and 2 Horse-drawn Limbers for the cheap order dice, I think, and 2 Renaults. The tank selection in this Luftwaffe field division is really limited. So you can basically take these Renaults, or you can take a Turmstellung, which is an immovable machine gun, and a truck, and then the fortifications, the barbed wire. What do we think?
It's a perfect example of what this list should be. We discussed this at length during our Best of the Rest theatre selectors. I would also pretty much say that this was the exact list that both you and I would come up with for this force.
Yes.
The Flak Zwilling with the heavy oil cannon shots, then having the 88. It's a really great defensive list. Then there's the 1 unit of Pioneers that can occupy the truck, maybe with some extra backup. Because that lieutenant, that's a regular first lieutenant. So there's a good leadership bonus to spread out to keep the force functional. The one thing I would say though is that when you know you're attending an event that can allow tank platoons in and other theatre selectors that can allow you to take multiple armor pieces, the barbed wire becomes less effective because there's going to be tracked vehicles that can run it down. So it's up to the captain of this team to make sure that this guy gets matched up with against as minimal tracked vehicles as possible.
Yeah, against infantry lists, this list would really do well, and maybe like truck heavy lists as well. The Flak Zwilling would just shred trucks, right?
Yeah,
And
so
it's also a list that really lives on quite open tables, because you're going to need the Flak Zwilling, and the Flak 88 is going to need lines of sight.
Yeah, but it's a great list.
It is,
and
it's really good list.
It will cause people problems, and if it's matched up correctly, it's going to be lethal.
Yeah, I have seen grown up men cry over facing this list at tournaments. Right. Then we have the third list, which is the Budapest Pocket Defenders. Do we recognize something here, Alistair? A trend.
It's a good trend.
Right,
I would have to say though, I'm sure all these teams didn't need our videos about theatre selectors to let them know what the good ones were.
And they were in before we made the video. So
yeah, but we did this for everybody else.
Yeah, 15 order dice, and we've got a second lieutenant regular with an extra man. We got assault pioneers, large units though. 2 of those, 3 of those. Wow, 4 of those. Wow, and then 2 Aerocross militia. We talked about these, and we couldn't really figure out how to use them or what to use them for. But look at this. They've got fatalistic seal, which means they're fanatic in close combat. They are shirkers, but fanatic in close combat. Isn't that just weird? And then Panzerfaust on them as well. Medium mortar, inexperienced sniper team, the rocket launcher, and a Bofors anti-aircraft automatic cannon, heavy cannon. and a Polizei tank and some trucks.
Yeah, I really like this list as well. The Polizei Daka tank, it's
Mm.
excellent. As I said, the proliferation of pioneer squads
Yeah.
and the appropriate transports to deliver them,
Yeah.
excellent, exactly as it should be. And that this is how we spoke about this list. I am also sure that having the boffers,
Mm.
the heavy automatic cannon, and then being able to use the three defensive positions,
Yeah.
the D3 defense hardcover defensive positions,
Yeah.
you can make the little bunker that I would
Yeah.
be a fan of trying to do.
Yeah.
The only concern I've got is these arrow cross militias.
Mm.
They are
I'm not sure how I would use those, but
yeah. I believe at full strength
mm,
they're outflanking
yeah, could be. Could be.
just
They've
so that
got rifles, and we know that the Spanish like to outflank full strength units.
yep
It was sort of their thing, what they came
yep.
up with. Yeah.
I think that they would be looking to outflank with these units
Mm?
and then hope to get the first dice draw on the next turn and
Then
then have these
charge.
guys charge. That's what they're looking for. So it's a good gamble, but I believe that it's a safe gamble because all all this list is committing is 110 points out of the 1,000 to outflank, whereas everything else on the list will be able to hold its own on the tabletop.
Yeah.
Um, this is a really good list. This
It's a
is
it's a really good list, and in the hands of a player who knows what they're doing with those outflankers.
yeah,
Yeah.
good times.
Yeah. Good times. Right. Then we have here. This is a British tank platoon, 15 order dice. And this is not the Stewart spam that we were expecting. This is the armadillo spam. And they've got 1, 2, 3 armadillos and 2 long range desert group armed trucks with the light autocannons. Then Royal Engineers, paratrooper section, Indians, because of course you do, free forward artillery observer, sniper team, Polston gun, which is again a light autocannon, a quad tractor for the gun, and then a 3-ton truck with all the transport you need.
Yep. This, upon an initial reading, confused me a bit, but then I actually remembered what you do with the armadillo. You reverse it. You
Mm?
reverse it towards your opponents because it's got the rear-facing platform-mounted heavy autocannon.
Yeah.
So this thing can split fire three ways
Hmm.
with the two LMGs that have got 360-degree fire arc and then the heavy autocannon. And there are three of them. So if this had to meet its counterpart in a Stuart platoon, this would probably win the day out pretty quick. Just
And
with those
that heavy autocannon is just terrifying to face when you're playing stewards. You're
exactly.
gonna have to hit at least one of them and kill one in order to not just lose your stewards
Yes.
facing list.
But coupled with that, you've got the two LRDG trucks that are
Yep.
also winging around with a light anti-tank
Yep.
gun
Yep. Yep.
and a whole bunch of other, machine guns. And then, as we've spoken about at this event, you can double down on the two free units that Britain can get access to, the free
Mm.
observer and the free 10-man Indian unit. And the player here has done this, as he should,
Yep.
to maximize his infantry. And his infantry options are excellent for
Mm.
paratroops, stubborn,
Yep.
they will dig in
Yep.
to claim an objective. There's two
Mm.
of them.
Mm.
Engineers to clear out another objective should there be required, and then the free 10-man Indian squad plus the small teams. The
And
pulsing
they can
cannon
sit on your own objectives if they need to, or uh,
safely. Yep,
10 men can push up a bit and be okay doing that.
yep,
I really like this list. For me, this is like maybe the optimized version of an anti-Stewart list.
yep. It's an anti-Stuart list, and it's still its own good tank list as well.
Yeah, it is.
I suppose the only other thing is just looking at the transports. The big
Mm.
super truck with capacity 29, you have to take these things to get a British tank platoon to work
Yeah.
easily. Just don't really know what's in the Jeep, to be fair. other than
Well, you're gonna have to have something, I think, because I think you're filled up. No, no.
oh no,
Yeah,
the maths is right. I mean, it's for the sniper and the observer
yeah.
to get them onto the battlefield, but it's just whether or not in game would you use
Oh,
it,
yeah.
or is it just going to?
I would keep the jeep close to my forward observer, and then hope to, as soon as he's put down his artillery barrage, hope to fling him up towards an objective, maybe.
Yep, yep.
Right. And list 5, which is the final Spain 2 list, we've got 18 organized silo heights. So far, I think every single nation that I've looked at has taken a silo heights list, and I think they should. It's more or less that, or the Stalingrad is more or less optimized for this event. I think they're really good. We talked about them all in our review of the best theater selectors.
Yeah,
And
the best of the allies, and it was Seal Heights was the number 2,
yeah,
and the Stalingrad Street Fight Academy was number 1.
yeah.
Yep.
And what we have here is an inexperienced junior lieutenant, 2 Strafbat units, large unit shirkers, and 7 of them are unarmed, so these are not going to do much for you. Then we've got a veteran squad with double Panzerfaust, tough fighters. We got guards with Panzerfaust, 1, 2, 3 of those, and a free squad. We got the sniper. We got an anti-tank rifle. We got 3 anti-tank rifles. Wow, that's a lot of anti-tank rifles. We got double heavy mortars. We got double CIS 3s. We got double SU 76s. What do we think?
Yeah, it's not what I would do with Silo Heights.
Um,
I truly believe that Shaftrat have had their day.
yeah.
Shirkers, um, they're just going to be cleared off, swept off the
Mm,
board pretty quick. The veteran squad with 2 Panzerfausts, yeah, look, it's a good unit, no issues with that. Then it's a min max to spam out the guard squads.
mm,
3 5-man squads, 1 Panzerfaust in each. They're just little wild cards that'll run about and claim and contest objectives. The 3 anti-tank rifle teams, it just feels like it's trying to spin out lots of order dice.
For me, they read like he wants to pin a steward, like 3 pins on 1 steward a turn.
Yep,
But maybe, I don't know. They are
yep,
also pretty cheap order dice. I agree.
yep. The 2 inexperienced heavy mortars, yep,
Mm,
they're good choices. But then it comes to the artillery section, the 2 ZIS-3s. I get that they've got versatile ammunition. I understand that,
yeah.
but it's like 2 really good anti-tank guns, plus 5 pen,
Mm,
and then you've got the 2 Su-76Is
hmm
that have also got plus 5 pen.
hmm
When they're 130 points, when you could just take 2 Daka Stewarts
Yep.
for the same, and if there's enough anti-tank in here already
Yeah.
to put pins on armor,
Yeah.
what's the Su-76I's purpose?
I think this is going overboard on anti-tank. I think this team, whoever they are, they really thought that there were going to be a lot of tank lists. And
Yep,
I'm not seeing that many. I'm seeing a lot, yes, but I'm not seeing like all tank lists. So I think they went a little overboard on trying to kill tanks.
yep. And I guess that's one of the benefits of the format of the WTC is you
Mm,
submit 5 lists, then you
yeah.
drop one, and all the entire world gets to see all these lists, so they'll know
Mm,
what the weighting is of armor
yeah.
versus infantry. So it's it's maybe a list that's got a specific purpose that might not always be needed.
Mm, yep. Right. So that was Spain 2. Now we're going on to Poland. And the Poles actually played this weekend here in Denmark, at least 2 of them. So I have a little bit of insider information on what I think that they are playing. I'm not going to tell anyone, but I may have figured out what they're doing. Right. The first list we have here is a Silo Heights 13 order dice list. Junior inexperienced lieutenant, guards, 8 men, so a little bit large guard unit with a Panzerfaust, tank riders, submachine guns, of course, and assault engineers. So all the best that you can get from the Soviet, and these assault engineers have body armor as well. So 6-man body armor, that's a hard unit. Notice though, they've got double Panzerfaust as well, so they can split fire. They can fire the flamethrower and the Panzerfausts. They're yeah, they can do work. Free squad, sniper team, heavy mortar and medium mortar, both of them inexperienced, and an M30 with a spotter. I don't understand these M30s, but I guess I'm going to learn because there's a lot of them coming. Assist 3 and Steward light tanks, and a truck.
Half-track truck.
Half-track truck, true.
Yep.
So you can drive through terrain.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a good interpretation of the Silo Heights list. I think my gut feeling is that from my own perspective, they've maybe leaned too heavily into the squad sizes, maybe a little bit too big in areas, and they've done that perhaps to the detriment of their dice count. 13 at 1,000 points from Silo Heights, usually expected to be around 15.
Yeah, 15 or 16, because you got a lot of cheap order dice if you're running Silo Heights. You've at least got access to a lot of them.
Yeah, but in saying that, the Twin Stuart is there. The half-track truck will get those engineers through rough ground, well protected, to deliver them. And they need to be delivered. They've got body armor, so they're not exactly going to be running about. The prospect of 10 tank riders hanging on to an M3 Stuart, I'm sure they fit.
No, they do not. Have you seen those tanks? They're tiny.
Yeah, well, they don't have to ride. They can be
Oh yeah,
hanging on for dear life. It's a good list, though. It might suffer from an order dice shortage, though. But if that M30 can get a quick return on the first round it fires,
ooh,
for those not initiated in the M30, it's a multi-launcher that you can buy a spotter for. It hits with HE 4-inch template, so it hits like a heavy howitzer. The issue is, though, immediately after it fires, it takes D3 pins.
and you have to rally it next turn, otherwise it's not loaded.
Correct. So, fire on turn 1, must rally on turn 2, then it can fire again on turn 3. So you're only ever going to get 3 shots with it. So they have to count. But again, has a spotter, good range, and when it hits even harder than a regular multi-launcher.
Yeah, it does. Right. So that's the first Polish list. Second Polish list here, which is a German tank platoon, 13 order dice. It has double Kugelblitz. I played a double Kugelblitz list in Cork. Wow, that hurt. And 3 Panzer ones. You're an expert on those, Alistair.
Yep, they're good guys.
Double Pioneers and a green Fallschirmjäger squad. The Howling Cow as well, and horse-drawn limber, heavy field cars for everyone.
Yep, this is a tight list, and it's
Very tight,
neatly bundled together. But we know that a Kugelblitz is a pretty solid tank. It's 9+ armor. It's packing those 2 heavy autocannons. When it points at a light tank, that light tank should disappear pretty fast. Then the 3 Panzer ones spitting out a good amount of MMG shots to pin down the infantry.
Notice though that one of them is inexperienced.
Oh my goodness, so it is.
Yeah.
Points must have really been a hassle.
Yeah.
Again, though, there's that many shots coming out of it. I don't think the player's going to care. And then there's the cheap multi-launcher, which is good to keep everything dispersed in your opponent's army.
Especially when you have a tank platoon, that is worth it.
Yeah. Problem though is these infantry squads are very small, and as we've mentioned before, vehicles cannot claim or contest objectives.
Yeah.
And
he's only got 4 scoring units, and he might easily lose 1 or 2 of them very early on.
Yep. and the dice count is against them with 13 order dice.
Yeah.
So
He's going to have to play very conservatively.
Yep. Yeah, committing with these infantry squads, and they're built to do stuff with the flamethrowers in there, and the transports are there, so it's a very glass hammer
Very, very, very
list.
glassy.
Yeah,
Right. Third Polish list is the IGA Kwantung 1937.
a very good selector, I must
Very
say.
good. Yes, let's compliment people on knowing their selectors here.
Yep.
18 order dice. We've got a regular second lieutenant. We've got IGA infantry, large units of regulars first, and a large unit of veterans as well. Engineers with flamethrower, and another regular group here, again large, and then a large unit of cavalry. I think that someone wants to spam a load of large units so that they're a threat here. Each one of them. Double mortars, medium, inexperienced, sniper team, suicide anti-tanker. Only one though. Is that right? Yeah, only one. Double mountain guns, light houses. Double mule teams for easy order dice. Veteran though, I don't understand that one. And an SS key work vehicle, which is the flame one. Here come double anti-tanker. So that's three suicide anti-tankers and a light truck for the engineers.
Yep. This is a selector. This is the number one Axis theatre selector that we selected,
Yep.
is it not?
Yep, it is.
And it's a good example of what can be done with it. I would have gone a little bit heavier in places, such as the howitzers. But then again, when we spoke about them, we spoke about them at 1250.
Yep.
This is at 1,000 points, so compromise of points is there. But it's still 18 order dice. The big cavalry squad's there at full strength, so that is on outflank to make sure it hits something very hard. The twin medium mortars, so twin medium mortars, twin light howitzers.
He has enough indirect fire to threaten anyone.
Yep, the flame tank, and then the light truck to move the engineers. It's a really good list, and
Really
it's
good.
coming from a good base of a really good theatre selector. I feel sorry for the list though that it can't make use of the multiple sniper slots,
Oh
and
yeah.
That's purely down to a points restriction.
Yeah, it
I
is.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a point restriction thing, so can't be helped.
Yep. Right. List number 4. This is a British tank platoon. And this is a 12 order dice tank platoon. And I know we've been like shitting on low order dice counts, but bear with us. It's got a Chaffee as the command tank, and then 2 stewards, 3 stewards, darker versions, Gurkha paratroopers, regular infantry, and Royal Engineers. It's got the Indian free unit and the free observer as well. It's got a medium mortar inexperienced. It's got boy anti-tank rifle and the large truck, the Bedford.
Yep.
Right. So it is low on order dice, but it's got 4 tanks.
And that's precisely why it's low on order dice. It's got the 4 armored vehicles, triple Stuart, and the Chaffee. The Chaffee's there, as we know, for the medium anti-tank gun, just in case it has to try and kill a Kugelblitz or something of that kind.
That Chaffee will also win duels with a Stuart.
Yep.
It's got recce and it's got a medium anti-tank gun. It will win that duel most of the time.
The good thing though is that the infantry are good. Gurkha paratroopers, veteran, they're going to stick around. There's a squad mounted on camels. Just one of the regular infantry squads. The engineer squad are there, veteran. And then the free 10-man squad. So there's plenty of scoring units that this player will have. Just got to be careful not to get outmaneuvered in the early stages of the game,
And he
the
needs to
Stuart,
preserve his small teams, right?
yep, and the Stuarts can do the heavy lifting. So yeah, the only negative about this list is the low dice count.
Yeah.
But this is exactly the sort of list I would expect to see at the WTC, and I would
Yep.
expect it to do well. If Poland decide not to play this, I would worry.
Well, we'll see. I have my ideas about that. We have a second British one here. So one of these British lists is going to be dropped. And this is a 15 order dice Commonwealth Infantry Brigade. We got inexperienced second lieutenant. We've got regular infantry with a light machine gun and one without. We've got two without, but one of them is mounted on camel. So 3 units that are different. And again, we have a camel unit here. The free observer, medium mortar inexperienced sniper team, Royal Engineer section as well. So pretty similar in the infantry department. I think this is the same player who made these two lists. Again, an Indian full strength free unit, double light howitzer with spotter, a Marmot Harrington armored car, and 2 A10 cruisers and a truck.
Yep. Look, again, this is a good list. Taking advantage of the twin British free units.
Mm.
The engineers are Western Desert engineers, so they're coming with the mine clearance, demolition charges.
Yep.
They just lack the other rules that the Canadian engineers got. Light artillery piece, 2 light artillery pieces with a spotter, so it's got more indirect
Mm.
or easier indirect than previous lists. The Marmon Harrington, good little fast armored car,
Yep.
2 with twin MMGs, and the cruisers again, they're good tanks. Got they're a standard tank. They've got a light
Yep.
anti-tank gun,
Yep.
coax MMG, Hull MMG, armor 8. So they don't have the fragility of the Stuarts, but then they don't have the other extra 8 shots
Yep.
that come with it. But the dice count is slightly more,
Mm-hmm.
which would be a help. And there are more infantry units here for claiming and contesting. So this is another good example of the Commonwealth Infantry Brigade's theatre selector, and it's a good list.
It is.
Can it be overpowered though by other lists that we've spoken about? Yes,
It can.
I believe it can. But it's still a good list in itself. And I think, having now spoken about all of Poland's lists, this might be the first complete set of 5 which feel like a good complete package
Yeah.
for them to
I
choose
think
from.
there are no like obviously weak lists here. Yes, some of them have weird order dice counts, but they are all pretty good.
I think though that's a good indicator of how Poland, maybe as a nation or as a national meta play, they're used to that slightly lower dice count than
They
some
are.
other countries play.
Yeah.
I think 15 order dice there, that was the highest,
Yep.
that last list that we spoke about. So it's an indicator of what they can do and what
Yeah.
they're used to playing with. So I like Poland.
I do as well. And the players are really good. I mean,
Yes.
one of them just won the Danish nationals yesterday.
Well,
No,
did they?
today. Yeah.
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 I haven't reviewed the final results.
No,
Congratulations to them.
But yeah. Marek Zelensky,
Oh, did he win? Oh, good.
he came first, yeah.
Marek's a good guy.
So yeah. And then we have Wales. So the first Welsh list is a 15 order dice British reinforced platoon. We have a second lieutenant with an extra man, inexperienced. We have Gurkha paratroopers, 2, 3, 4 of those. 2 of them are 8-man, 2 of them are 7-man. They haven't got any extra bling, no SMGs or anything. Free forward artillery observer, free Indian squad. We're seeing all free Indians. Inexperienced medium mortar, flamethrower team, Pier team, 25-pounder, staghound, double jeeps for transport, and a steward.
This is a solid list
Yep.
that you would expect to see attend at any competitive event in the United Kingdom at 1,000 points.
Yeah.
And it will always do well.
Mm.
It has got the Staghound Stuart combination are excellent. Good
Yep.
armor,
Yep.
excellent maneuverability, lots of machine gun shots and light anti-tank gun shots.
Mm-hmm.
The two jeeps, one for the Piat, one for the flamethrower team, gives them the maneuverability to plug holes.
Yep.
And having 4 units of Gurkha paratroopers barreling down at you is always going to be a tough ask.
Mm.
But back that up with free 10-man Indian squad and also the free observer.
Mm-hmm.
Look, okay, so they don't get the up and atom to get the free charge move.
Well, you've got 4 units. The enemy can try and pin them all down, but they're veteran. Some of them will get
Yep,
going. Some of them
yep.
will.
Some of them are going to make it.
Yep.
And 15 order dice. Like this is like your granny's recipe of your favorite homemade soup. You know it's going to be good every single time. Just follow the instructions.
Yeah.
Do like your grandmother told you to do, and you'll always have a good time. This list is a safe bet and a good
Yeah.
list to have on your
Yeah.
team.
I will say one thing. It does take a little bit of practice getting used to how to play assault troops. They're not just charge ahead at the enemy, because that will lose you games every time. So it does take a patient player who knows what they're doing. But then in the hands of a good player, this is really good list. I don't think I could have written a better generic reinforced British list myself.
No, no.
This is
As I said,
this
and
is pretty much it.
I hope the metaphor is not lost on the Welsh. This is your grandmother's safe
Yeah.
recipe. Don't stray from it.
No. Right. And second platoon, that's a German tank platoon. So we've got a Flampanzer command vehicle, and two other Flampanzers, and 2 machine guns, motorcycles, Storm Pioneers, double of those, Waffen SS cavalry, flamethrower team, heavy field cars for the engineers, and a Kugelwagen. And it was 12 order dice, so low order dice count again.
Yep. I look, I can't hold back on this one. I don't believe this list is for real. It's too clean cut, cookie cutter, cut
Mm,
paste, and it would be too easily overturned. But I could be wrong, so we should give it its due diligence. Having 2 flamingos, those tanks have got a super low profile, very easy to hide and maneuver,
mm,
and they will spit out plenty of fire.
yeah.
So there's lots of flamethrowers pouring out from them.
And it does have distraction units with the motorcycles as well.
Exactly. So, there are 3 flamingos that are able to
Mm,
maneuver around. The motorbike sidecar for 40 points, they're a perfect choice.
yeah.
They're fast moving, recce, 6 MMG shots. They will put out pins and remain, and they'll have the ability to get back to safety quite comfortably.
Mm,
The Stun Pioneers, there's 2 heavy field cars for them.
yep. And
Uh,
and a Kugelwagen for the flamethrower. So that's 3 vehicles with flamethrowers in them. So
yep. So they're 2 excellent strike teams in the sense that
mm,
both the Pioneer squads have got 3 Panzerfaust each, and they've got the flamethrower and they're packing submachine guns. So if these units do get into your battle line,
mm,
they will make short work of whatever comes near them. SS Cavalry, again, full strength as well, so it would be a good squad on outflank. Although I suspect with a low order dice count, you would probably want all your troops on the table.
I think so.
Um,
I think so. You don't want to lose turns where you could be trying to strike at the enemy.
no, exactly, and these guys would be an extremely useful
Yeah.
tool to do. I suppose though it's the size. 10
Mm,
is a bit big. It's a bit of an unwieldy number of cavalry to
it
use
is.
and to hide and maneuver.
Mm. But
But
they
look,
hit
they're
like a ton of bricks. 10,
yeah,
10 veterans charging in, and they will be a tough fighter.
they
Yeah.
will be, yes, yep. So it's got the potential to be a really a really damaging list if it comes
we'll
at you. But
we'll see if you feel like this after we've talked through all the lists that this is the
yes,
dud. But yeah,
time will tell.
right. Third list. This is a Japanese reinforced platoon. So again, generic reinforced. 16 order dice. We've got a second lieutenant, 2 extra men, so he doesn't want to get killed in preparatory bombardment, and he's veteran. Then we've got bamboo spear fighters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 bamboo full strength and a Kempertai with an extra man. Heavy mortar, inexperienced, flamethrower, 3 suicide anti-tankers, a heavy howitzer with a spotter, the the armored car, which has got 2 MMGs turret mounted, Horo assault gun, and a Kuragani. I feel like I've seen this list before.
Yes, and you will have, because this is also in your grandmother's recipe book
Yes, it
for
is.
generic Japanese bamboo stew. This is
Yes.
so. Excuse me. This is an excellent example of what Japan can do in that late war theme, if you will. So it's a bamboo horde. It's going to be running forward. There will be all the suicide anti-tank teams will be hidden in amongst all the bamboo horde as they're running forward. They will leap out and kill your Stuarts or your Kugelblitzes or your Chaffies. And then in the backfield, you will have the heavy mortar.
Yeah.
You will
And the
have
Horo.
and the Horo and the heavy howitzer,
Yeah.
will all be firing direct or indirect at you. And then you've got the little Kurigan, and that
Mm,
will be zipping around.
mm.
That will actually potentially have, well, it'll definitely have the flamethrower team in it, but it'll potentially have one of the suicide anti-tank teams as well, just
Yeah.
to throw it up the field even further.
Yeah.
And 16 order dice is a good count.
The only
And
thing I think I would change is maybe the heavy howitzer for a spigot mortar.
I know why you would do that, but I
Mm.
wouldn't.
Okay.
Um, because if you can have this heavy howitzer direct firing at something, once
True.
your infantry sort of
Yeah.
part ways to give it a clear shot at something,
Yeah.
I like having that direct fire as opposed to having everything rely on indirect. So because all of a sudden then you would have the heavy mortar and the spigot mortar. You're just all trying to luck out on getting a early 6.
Yep.
Um, it's a great list.
It is a great list. It's
and
really good.
and it's another list that you would expect to see this appear at any competitive event,
Yep.
around the world. I own this list. It's in boxes. I can see it. I can see the
You
4
haven't
boxes
painted
of
it
them.
yet.
It's still in the boxes. It's
Yeah.
up there of yours. I haven't got the spirit to paint that many bamboo spearmen.
Right. Fourth list, which is Silo Heights. 15 order dice. We've got junior lieutenant inexperienced. We've got assault engineers, 2 of those, flamethrower panzerfausts. Scout squad to push up and control the board early on. Free rifle squad. Sniper team, flamethrower team, heavy mortars, double of those, inexperienced. Sis 3, M30 with a spotter, double Stuart light tanks, truck, and gas jeep.
Yep. Look, I feel like a broken record, but this is a good example of Silo Heights,
Yep.
in that it's got the right dice count,
Mm,
15 for 1,000 points.
mm.
Twin engineers with flamethrower, 2 Panzerfaust, both
No, one
veteran.
of them has got body armor, the other hasn't.
Oh, that's good. Okay,
Yeah.
so you've got a bit of a
Bit of a
more
Death
solid.
Star for one of them, and yeah.
Yep. Look, the scout squad, just to go hunting for any forward deployers that you want to get
Mm,
near. Twin and experienced heavy mortar. There's S3. The M30 makes its appearance again.
mm,
We've already talked about the heavy rocket launcher. Twin Stuart. It's a good example of the list.
really
And
is.
for Silo Heights, yep, there's not much more that can be said. I think experienced gamers, when they come up against this list, they know what to do.
Yeah. Right. And then finally we have a American reinforced platoon. 13 order dice, second lieutenant with 2 extra men, inexperienced, and we've got U.S. Marines with BAR, veteran engineers, 2 units of those, 3 units, 4 units. Wow, that is a lot of veteran engineers. They've got submachine guns. Some of them have got bars. Heavy mortar team spotter. 140 millimeter rocket launcher. Stuart light tank. Dodgers for the engineers. Lots of Dodgers, all of them with pintle mounted.
Yep.
13 order dice.
Yep. Again, I will play the same tune. This is straight from the recipe book of solid, reliable army lists for United States generic reinforced platoon.
Yep.
I think the way they've spiced it up though is to make the engineer squads veteran, whereas a lot of players would minimize the cost and just keep them as regular, just to increase the dice count.
Yeah.
But by having them as veteran, when they do get out of the truck, if the flamethrower does fail and they have to take some fire back, the resistance is there.
Yeah.
A comment I made either in this video or previous videos, having dodges without the medium machine gun, I get quite frustrated at. But seeing 4 regular dodges, each with a pintle mounted MMG, to deliver these engineers into battle is fantastic. Backed up by a good Stuart, and they shelled out the extra 10 points for Recce just to help its survivability. Multi-launcher and the regular heavy mortar with the spotter to make it a good, reliable unit. The only deficiency, I would say, in the list is the omission of a sniper.
Yeah. Yeah, that means that he's going to have to protect his mortar team and rocket launcher.
Yep. They would be vulnerable to having those long range pins being delivered to them, but it's a good example of its
Really
case.
is.
Yep.
So you still feel like the other list was the dud?
Yes, in the sense that there's 4 lists here which are stock standard. Sounds like I'm like a derogatory term.
No,
but
but they're really good competitive lists. But you'll
this,
see them again and again because they're tried and tested, right?
Yeah, they're tried and tested. I'll throw this comment out there. They're like Volvos. They're reliable, sensible, safe, and you know what results you can get from them.
Yeah.
So that's a good set of lists from Wales.
The final nation in this pool is Denmark, and it's Denmark2. So, and here we have the first list for Denmark2. It's an 18 order dice, and it's the 1942 anti-tank artillery battery. So it's a Soviet list. It's a Soviet theater selector here. It's got a junior lieutenant inexperienced. It's got a CIS-3 divisional gun. It's got an anti-tank gun here, the 45 millimeter, a poly truck, assault engineers, 2 of those, an SMG squad, the free squad as well, anti-tank rifle teams, 2 of those, medium mortar, another anti-tank gun, same gun as last time, 2 horse-drawn limbers, and 2 Stuarts and 2 trucks, MGs.
Yep. This is a sneaky little list.
Yeah.
For the theater selector that it is.
Mm-hmm.
So putting down effectively the 2 anti-tank guns and the ZIS-3.
Yep. That's 3 anti-tank guns.
3 anti-tank guns. They've all got, I just need to scan it. They've all got gun shields.
Yep.
So you can find them good little places to tuck in. The dice count is high, 18 order dice. You've still got your 2 units of engineers, lacking Panzerfaust, but then 3 anti-tank guns are digging. Plus you've got the 2 Daka Stuarts, the free inexperienced squad, 2 anti-tank rifles, inexperienced medium mortar. This is a really good list, especially in the meta that the WTC is gonna meet.
The only thing I would want is I would want some Panzerfaust on the engineers. That's the only thing I would change. I would exchange one of those horse-drawn limbers for some Panzerfausts.
Yep. There's a trick though. That SMG squad of 5, they're inexperienced. That's unfortunate.
Yep.
And the poly truck, No, still a good list.
It is.
Really good. Really tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
I like
five SMGs, they can go with one of the assault engineers and one of the trucks actually. Get out first and pin something, and then the flamethrower can kill it. Um,
that. Yep. No, good list. Good use of that selector as well.
yeah. Right. Then we have the second list here, which is an Allied Romanian infantry division. 13 order dice. We've got a second lieutenant inexperienced. We've got late war infantry 1, 2, 3, I guess. No, 2. We've got 2 late war infantry sections here. Panzerfausts, skirmish units, a commissar with an extra man, a forward artillery observer. We've got 3 combat engineers, pioneers with flamethrower and panzerfausts. We've got a inexperienced medium mortar. We've got a sniper team. We've got the OT-34 flamethrower tank with a medium anti-tank gun as well as the flamethrower. We've got 2 miscellaneous trucks.
There's a problem with this list, Bo,
Mm-hmm.
and that we've reviewed this theatre selector before.
Yep.
The 1944 Allied Romanian Infantry Division,
Yep.
and we know that for every 3 of the same type of infantry unit
You should
that
get a free one.
you get one for free, or a cheaper equivalent for free.
Yep.
And so,
and that is not noted down here, so I do not know what's.
It's not noted down here because there are 3 combat pioneer sections which are all bought,
Yep.
which means he should be entitled to a 4th pioneer section which isn't listed.
Yep.
The other rule from the selector is that there has to be 1 transport truck per 2 infantry squads, and there are only 2 trucks present.
Yeah.
I know we said at the start of the video we weren't picking out legalities or illegalities, but
somebody might want to check this list.
This list needs to be checked. But let's do a quick look over it though, because in saying that, I believe this selector has been misused because it's not maximized the availability of free units, which we spoke about. There's the potential to have 8 infantry squads, which would be 4 late war infantry and 4 combat pioneers.
Yep.
To make this work. But all the points have been poured into the OT-34.
Yep.
So at the moment,
which is a very expensive tank. It's also very deadly, but it's very expensive for what it does.
Oh yeah, it is a deadly tank. I mean, it's not an OT-34-85 though, so it's just a medium anti-tank gun. So it's still good. I mean, it's still a 9+ armor tank, but there's an issue with the list.
Yep, there is. And then we have this one, which is a British reinforced platoon, 16 order dice. It's got a second lieutenant in experience. Got Gurkha paratroopers, 1, 2, 3 Gurkha paratroopers, 8-man units. The free artillery observer, native irregulars, 5 of those regular. The NCO has a submachine gun. It's got Up and Adam for the Gurkha paratroopers. It's got a medium mortar with a spotter, a sniper team, flamethrower team, Piat team, medium artillery piece, howitzer, and 3 early war motorcycles. A jeep, I'm guessing to transport the flamethrower, and a Stuart Dakar version.
Yep. This is a variation of the safe recipe from your granny's cookbook that we've spoken about, of what a British generic platoon can do. You know, the 3 Gurkha paratroopers having the native irregulars, they're a nice little trick to have that infiltrating fieldcraft unit. Medium mortar with a spotter, an actual proper medium artillery piece. I like them. They're really good tools for killing all manner of infantry. Tricking out the 3 early war sidecars is a good way to spam extra dice, but also a good way to put out multiple pins quite quickly. Especially if the 3 of them travel together as a team and focus
like
fire.
Hunting, like wolf pack style.
Precisely, that's a great example of what they could do. You know, and these 3 bikes, if they come up against any of the shirkers, which we've actually seen, I am baffled that there are so many shirkers.
They
Find
should kill a unit of shirkers a turn simply
yeah, they'll
by pinning them out more or
yeah,
less
exactly.
on
And
their
then
own.
having the Daka Stewart come and help them out.
Hmm.
Um, the trick here, though, is that they have taken a national characteristic up and at them, which, granted, it will help the Gurkhas move upfield and get closer. But it's that point of, do you weigh up? Is another 10 infantrymen
Worth the same.
better than up and at them?
Yep.
And I have to say, from my own gut feeling, you should take the free infantry squad.
Mm. It does have a lot of scoring units, though.
It does, but
But
one more
10,
scoring
10
unit,
extra men for free.
10 extra men,
Yeah.
10 rifle shots.
Yep.
10 rifle shots per turn over 6 turns, 60 rifle shots. Do if you want to do it that way. So, excellent list. Probably might want to have optimized that other free unit though.
Mm. Then we have number 4, which is a German reinforced platoon. 14 order dice, and it's got a Waffen SS second lieutenant regular, 2 extra men. SS squads regular with a Panzerfaust, Brandenburgers veteran with a Panzerfaust, Waffen SS pioneers with flamethrower and Panzerfaust, German LMG team, medium mortar inexperienced sniper team, Panzersistoras. Those are the guys with double Panzerschrecks, and a Panzerfaust as well. Just throwing that in there. A flak Zwilling, always good. Heavy field car, 250/9, the light autocannon one. The Panzerwerfer, and a half track with an MMG and a heavy field car.
Yep. I actually don't mind this list at
Hmm?
all. There's lots of tools in here that I enjoy using with the German army.
Yep.
The Brandenburgers are a great unit.
Mm.
With their paranoia and sabotaging
Yep.
outflankers. So having them around is really good. They are expensive though, and at 1,000 points, they do feel like a very premium product. But
Yeah. But so are
they
the Panzersistoras, right?
well, yeah, exactly. If you're in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah.
The light machine gun team, it's really excellent.
It
For
is. It
being
is
able
what
to move.
for me
Being
that is what all medium machine gun teams should be.
Yeah, been able to move and fire three
Mm.
infantry pieces. Look, snipers there. The Panzer Destroyer trooping. How many of there actually is there? There's 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 infantrymen with 2 Panzerschrecks.
And a
Uh,
Faust.
and the Faust just, I
And
think this is a
5
wild card,
submachine guns. It's insane.
precisely. Look, this list is definitely expecting to bump into multiple light tanks,
Hmm.
and it is decided to have enough tools to deal with it. The
Just imagine that Panzersistoras moving up. This player getting the last order dice, moving his heavy field car up on one order dice, second order dice pumping out his Panzersistoras in the middle of your armored formation, then split firing because he can split fire with the Panzerfaust in one direction and the 2 Panzerstrakes in the other.
yeah, well,
Wow.
I mean, to be fair, they would have to be in the half track.
They would. Yeah. They yeah,
Um,
that's true. So not in the heavy field car, but
yeah,
yeah.
but
Wow.
still, it's a good list.
Yep.
I like the tools that are in it.
Yep.
14 order dice is okay. The Flex Willing, yeah, I like the list. There's no other commentary. I like it.
Mm. And then Denmark2, the last list, which is 22 order dice Japanese Pacific Defenders from New Guinea. It's got second regular lieutenant. It's got militia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 units of 8 militia. A Kempetai political officer, forward artillery observer, double engineers, one of them regular, one of them veteran, 2 light mortars, suicide anti-tank team, improvised anti-tank team, infantry howitzer, infantry gun, light truck, and extra units because you can take the right amount in easy army, I guess. So 2 extra militia squads, 4 extra militia squads, and extra improvised tank teams, 2 of those, and an extra suicide. Wow, that's a lot of small teams.
Yeah, this is a proper proper Japanese horde list.
It is. 22
I
order dice.
22 order dice. What's really bizarre is it's 986 points. There's still 14 points
I
floating
don't know
around.
what that is. I don't know why that is.
I know,
No
I would
idea.
that's an extra assistant for your second lieutenant.
Mhm.
They might not have the option to buy another suicide anti-tank at 14 points.
Don't know.
They might not have the space, but yeah, it's a lot to digest, isn't it? So the forward artillery
Also, you
observers
know
there.
what? It could be an issue of easy army being off on points and the player actually paying the correct amount of points for his units.
True,
Could
true,
be.
very true. But crunching through it, minimum sized engineer squads with flamethrowers just to deliver them. 1 veteran, 1 regular. That's okay. 8-man militia squads. Plenty of them.
Mm.
Green, keep the Kemptai officer nice and close. Light mortars and experience, we love them. There's lots of the suicide bombers in there. There's more militia. It's 22 order dice as well. It is difficult work
It is.
for
One
your
thing
opponent.
I will add, I just noticed is it's only got 1 truck with an 8-man capacity, so it can't actually transport both of his engineers units. One of them is going to have to foot slug, but then again, one of them is a veteran unit, so they might actually be able to survive that.
Yep. No, it's a really good list.
Mm.
And it's one of the biggest dice counts that we've seen so far, so
Yep. Right.
can't fault it.
And that was it for pool number 2. Right. Alistair, we will be back in another video in a couple of days. And do you want to end out this video with anything?
I think I never did it in the previous video we did, but if I was going to predict a winner from this pool, I would put my meager funds on Poland.
For me, I think it would be Wales, but okay.
Yep.
The Polish are really good, but yeah.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for tuning in, and cheers.